Hello everyone, it's Kay here. It's been a little while, but life kind of gets in the way on occasions, doesn't it? And I'm just here today to share with you a project that has been definitely sponsored by my most favourite craft company, Handy Hippo Crafts. That's www.handyhippocrafts.co.uk. And I have yet again received a wonderful DT package to make a few projects with, to share with you throughout the month, and I am delighted to say I have had a lot of fun with these items in front of me here. I was sent some doilies, which always come in handy. They're a girl's best friend. I was sent Floral Muse. Now I know Floral Muse by Craft has been out for a little while, but it's pretty wonderful that given discounts and special offers and that kind of thing, Handy Hippo have taken these lovely papers on board. When you come to check out their site and see a 15% off or a 10% off here and there, these papers, which are already extremely reasonable, become ultimately affordable. And Floral Muse is just a beauty. It really is. I did have it in my collection and I've made albums with it and that kind of thing. This is the 6x6 size, and what you have are 72 sheets, oh my word, swallow your words, Kay. 6 pages of 12 designs, which is absolutely amazing for the price. And what I've done here is taken out, rather than flipping through a pad with you, I have taken out the designs that are available within the pack, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit there so you can see them. And you get 6 sheets of each page, which is absolutely wonderful, because should you want to make a larger project or cover a box, for example, or make a journal or a junk journal or envelopes, anything like that, you can actually make little sets, and the 6 pages are enough to take you through a lot of different projects. So here we go. This is a music one. This is a script, as you can see, very pretty, and there are spots and dots and shadings of beige and pink, typical shabby chic colours. Spotty Dotty, and you all know how I adore Spotty Dotty. This is, I think of it as wallpaper, but it is, when you look at it very closely, it's so delicate, and it's just posies of roses captured within this green, I don't know quite which is the right way up, actually that looks a bit better, captured within these green almost pendants with fluted greenery coming out from the side. It really is lovely. More diamonds and spots, another kind of paisley style print. All of them are ultimately usable. This lovely pink and cream flowers, spotty dotties and stripes, well, you can't go wrong with that. This glorious butterfly, and it is all, I'm hoping the camera's picking it up well, it is all so beautifully delicate. More little floral bouquets. This lovely page here, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, with the Life is Beautiful sentiment on it. And finally, oh no, that's 2 together, so I've taken you through the whole source of the pages there. Needless to say, you get your 6x6, you get your 8x8, and you get your 12x12, so it really is a fabulous buy. I've also used my very most favourite 300 GSM square cards for the projects I'm going to show you, and these come in packs of 50 with envelopes. It makes them very reasonable and great quality. I've got 2 of those. I've also used a little bit of silver and a little bit of gold mirror card, because I do believe these mirror boards just throw your project back out there and gives it some really beautiful definition. You'll see these are nibbly bits. This is what I've got left from what I did. Some odd bits of paper here and some odd bits of card and cutout, because you never do know. I very rarely throw anything away until I've actually completed what it is I want to do. So I'll move these things out of the way so you can see what I've made with the package. And I'll just go back out. Oh, excuse my well-loved crafting board. I do have to get myself a new one. This one has taken a bashing over the years, but it's like a pair of slippers and it is just so comfortable. So bear with me, people. Right, this is the first project that I've made using the Floral Muse. It's a standard crossover card with attitude, I'm calling it. And what it is the standard crossover. I've actually anchored down one side of the crossover, and in here I've made a photo mat or somewhere where you could add a verse or perhaps a little message. It's plain on the back, but in keeping with the loaded envelopes and things like that, it's just a bit more delicate, and you don't have to put quite so much into it to make it a really beautiful gift to give to someone. I have, as you can see, put a square over the front there, which is left clear here, but I don't think it detracts from the overall look of the card. Again, you could put a little message there or pin a little something to it. And each of the areas, backs and sides, this is another thing, just emphasizing the wonder of having 6 sheets of one design. It does allow you to complete, and if you're a little bit like me and you like things to be matching, then it's a lovely way of making up a card. I've used some flowers from the stash here, a little pearl brad which came from Handy Hippo, various punches just to layer up this central doily, which, as you can see, is thrown back at you by the mirror board, and a lovely little sentiment there from one of my own stamps. I've also used these little skeleton leaves, which aren't very evident, I think, on camera, but when you see it in reality, it really does add a very subtle effect to the overall look of the card. So that was the first one that I did, which I'll put over here. And then the second one I did is again the crossover card, but I've turned it into a card pocket. And what I've done here is used an embellishment sent to me by Handy Hippo, and this is Scrapberry, and you get 4 different designs. If I bring it up and hopefully minus glare, you'll see that it really is a very delicate cabochon in the centre of the frame there. I've used one little white leaf, some tiny little flowers, some lace from my trim, and that very, very lovely Life is Beautiful sentiment page. I've made the card up in exactly the same way. I've put the lace around. This time I've used the silver mirror board, and I've covered the back as well, because I do like things to be finished. But that's my personal taste. It's not everybody's way, but for me, I like things to be finished. I've used this tiny little trim, which again doesn't detract from the beauty of the papers. And inside I've made a little card for the recipient, and it's a patchwork card, or what I loosely call a patchwork card. And what I've done is put a base of mirror card, one of the full larger sheets cut down to size, another piece of the paper on mirror board, and then the base card on the front there. My dog's out there playing football and growling, so you'll have to excuse her. She's contending for Wembley, I think, or some such, I'm not quite sure. And there's a lovely little bow here with a super little blossom in the centre. I've got a sentiment panel up here, but I've not actually stamped anything on it, because clearly it could be a thank you card, it could be a get well card, any message would sit on that little placard there quite nicely. I've not actually lined the card, but I will go on to do that, but for the purposes of getting the video out, I've just stopped short of what I usually do. And now, having shown you all of that, what I'd like to do is show you how, and it's not new, it's been out there for a long time, how to make the crossover card. Now, bearing in mind that these 300 GSM cards come in packs of 50, you can afford to be just that little bit generous with them. So taking 2 of the cards, what you actually do is line up 1 panel across the center from each of the cards, just like so. And it really is very straightforward. That then forms the center and base of the card. So again, you've got your 1 card flat and opened. You bring this card just to the seam of the other card, because clearly you don't want to block the folding mechanism. And then you line it up, and you either can use wet glue or sticky tape, a really strong adhesive, because this is going to be the back of the pocket, so you do, or card, you do need it to be quite sturdy. Then you have to decide which way you want these flaps to go. Now, you could cut them down diagonally that way, which is what I did, and then fold them in. You could have 1 diagonal going that way and 1 diagonal going that way. Then you would get a square crossover on the front, but it would open up in, obviously, in the different directions. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to do the basic. And what I tend to do, I don't measure because I've been crafting for quite a long time, but what I have here is my cutting blade, which again is out of the arc, but it works for me. I'm just going to stand up, and what you do with a metal ruler, again, needless to say, because you really don't want to cut through on plastic, what I do is line up from corner to the bottom corner, and using my blade I just score through, holding my ruler very tightly, like so, and there's 1. So that one will fold over that way, and then this one will fold over this way. So I haven't anchored that, but you can appreciate where I'm going with it. You then come to the other side and you do exactly the same thing. I'm just hoping I'm in shot here because I'm stood up and I can't see what I'm doing. So you bring your blade across on the diagonal from one side to the other. I've not quite gone through that because it's a bit awkward. I'm working around the stand of the tripod here now. So I'll just go over that again to make sure it's gone through. I never ever throw these little pieces away because they're ideal for punching out little bits and pieces that you might want, or you could make it as a liner for the inside of the card, like so. Glue down the 2 sides there, and you've actually got another pocket within a pocket. It's a variation, you know, and something that once you've got the basics you can play with and really let your imagination run riot. So we have to imagine that this is glued, so this one will then go this way, this one will then go that way, or you can do it the other way, like so. It's entirely up to you. You could, if you wanted to, only glue down the edges and have this as a back pocket. It's limitless. It's such a versatile card, which is why I personally keep coming back to it, because, you know, you can just play and play and play, and using different designer papers, using different ideas that you might have, you can always, as I hope I've shown you, make it different. You could have one side opening as I did and have the pocket here. You could have both sides opening and go to town on decorations, stamping. You might want to use I don't know, Martha Stewart punches, border punches. It's limitless. Again, if you don't like this being flat all the way, there is nothing to stop you from curling back one of these pages and making a different overview of it. You can really do whatever your heart desires within the confines of the shape that you're using. So I'm hoping that this has been a source of help to you. It really is a very, very versatile card. Do go along to Handy Hippo, who keep the card packs, everything that I've shown today apart from my blade, which is very, very old, and my ruler there. They have everything in stock to make these cards. You just need to go to your own stash for bits of lace and flowers. So thank you very much for sharing this time with me. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye bye for now.